But it must be even better than I thought to be quarterback at Oklahoma, because Kyler Murray was taken 9th overall in the Major League Baseball draft and still wants to play football this season. That first job pays. The second job hurts. And the 5'10" Murray will never play it down in the NFL at quarterback. So what am I missing here, Pablo? Tell me if I'm being too harsh, because Kyler Murray playing football this season is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And the A's going for it, not much smarter.
So as a self-interested sports gas bag / fan, I do want the return of the guy who plays multiple sports professionally. I want Brian Jordan. I want Deion Sanders. I want Bo Jackson. I would love it if this guy somehow played Major League Baseball and the NFL simultaneously. But I just don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that the financial incentives are set up, let alone the medical incentives are set up for someone in 2018 to look at those two sports and think, yeah, I should be playing football at all.
How much would it cost to get you to play football? I'm just asking you, like, how much would somebody have to pay you to get you to play football? Because I have yet to derive a dollar amount.
Oh, no,
that someone could come up with to get me to play football.
And I ain't doing that.
Yeah. And I get why people play football. There are all kinds of reasons. But, man, the A's are going to give him $4.7 million. Like, that's the slot at that draft pick is $4.7 million. I feel like if somebody's talking to you about $4.7 million and this other thing you're doing doesn't get you anything but hurt, there is no way in the world that I'm going to do that at the potential expense of anything in line with that $4.7 million. Like, normally the way this goes is the baseball money shows up, the football player goes and takes the baseball money. Why? Because that's smart. Or at the very least, it's just not stupid. So, like, I hope he loves playing football. He was a legendary high school football player with crazy numbers. He's from Texas. Being the quarterback, I get it.
And his dad was a football player, all that.
Somebody got to put their hand on their shoulder and say, son, sometimes part of being an adult is doing things you don't want to do. Go get this money.
Someone needs to bring him to the salary pages for two players in particular, because look up the salary of Calvin Johnson, his career earnings. Calvin Johnson notably left the game early, many would say. And then look up the salary information for Jeff Samardzija. Jeff Samardzija, being a mediocre baseball player, made more than Calvin Johnson did, even though Calvin Johnson was the second coming of Jerry Rice at one point. It's just not mathematically sensible.
Hold up. Forget the money for a second. Calvin Johnson says he wakes up in the morning and he can't bend his ankles.
Right.
That's the part we're talking about here. The more we talk about football, we realize, we think about it as an NFL thing, these long-run injury consequences. But we're finding more and more that playing football at these lower levels is having these long-range consequences. Also, like, this is just not good for the body. Forget about the good for business part just for a second. It's not good for the body. So, look, if that's what he wants to do and it makes him happy, good for you. But, man, all kinds of things that make you happy you got to stop doing sometimes.
And you have to wonder what happens in terms of the types of athletes who even want to play football. If this kid doesn't want to do that, and we're saying he shouldn't, that's not a great sign for football as an institution.